Hi, and welcome to Physiology of Stress Techniques to Stay Calm. I chose to do this because I find stress fascinating. How do we respond to stress physically, mentally, and emotionally? How do we cope with stress in healthy and unhealthy ways? And how do we change it if we're doing the latter? How does stress affect how we deal with conflict? All of these things are very interesting to me, partially because of the work I do, and partially because we were created this way. So stress must be good, as God said, even if we aren't responding to it in a good way. So, what is stress? Merriam-Webster defines it as a physical, chemical, or emotional factor that causes bodily or mental tension and may be a factor in disease and illness. Basically, it's anything outside of the self or our homeostasis that is demanding or causes distress. It's not always negative, but what happens to our bodies during a negative stress response can damage our bodies long term. Bad stress causes narrowing blood vessels, increased blood pressure, increased heart rate, changes in how your blood flows. We tend to retain sodium, and our glucose levels raise. Um, Aside from just the physical part of overheating, a lot of these won't even notice or know that are happening, but we all know what stress feels like. We hear about good stress all the time: having a baby, buying a house, getting a promotion at work. These are all examples of good stresses. Good stress can actually be beneficial for our bodies. It helps in restoring our energy. It improves heart function, increases our stamina and strength because we have a goal. When good stressors come along, when you get a promotion, your drive is much higher. Distress, on the other hand, is the stress which has negative impacts. It's the stress what causes anxiety, and distress has a negative impact on our performance and can lead to mental and physical problems, while good stress sharpens our thinking and enhances our mental ability. So, stress is not a bad thing. It really just is. As I stated before, it's how we were created, and here's why. We needed to survive. Having a stress response allows us to notice danger and protect ourselves. The issue is now we don't necessarily have to protect ourselves the way we used to when we were more exposed to the elements, animals, and other humans wanting to take our homes or hurt us. Now we find stress in some of the most mundane things. We put so much pressure on ourselves. Other people put pressure and expectations on us, and this has a negative effect. Good stress is short term. It can lead to feelings of jitteriness or nervousness. It increases your adrenaline. That leads to better concentration and motivation, helps you perform at peak levels. And within, it says student athlete, but within our control, really. Bad stress is long term, ongoing, and chronic, can lead to feelings of helplessness, anger, guilt, shame, or sadness. Increases restlessness, aggression, and fatigue, headaches, and increased heart rate, like I said earlier. And it disrupts our sleep, and just gives us a poor performance. So, where do we go from here? One way to effectively handle stress is by using mindfulness techniques. Palouse Mindfulness has a free 8-week practice that shows many aspects of mindfulness-based stress reduction. The first week introduces us to what's called a body scan. This is simply taking note from your head to your toe, checking how your body is feeling. We're looking for any of the reactions that were noted earlier. Do you feel nervous? Do you feel jittery? Do you feel hopeless or anxious? How does your skin feel? What does your brain feel like? And this allows us to recognize how we are feeling and recognize if we're responding out of stressful feelings, and gives us a chance to calm before stepping into a conflict, or even with proper practice, being able to do a quick check on this while you're in the middle of a conflict and reassessing what you need to do. And so I really wanted to connect this because this popped into my head. A specific real life example, that Will Smith was unable to control his stress, and it caused him to act out in a very inappropriate way when he slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars. Had he been mindful about his stress, very little of which I think had to do with the joke that was told, I think he could have taken steps to manage his emotions and avoided that conflict. It seems very out of character for Will Smith. Thinking about our values sort, nothing about this event seems to line up with the patient and encouraging, authentic person that Will Smith has always shown to be. His reaction aligns with a relationship conflict, but I don't think it was Chris Rock's relationship he had an issue with. He just happened to be the outlet for Smith's anger. So, to wrap all this up, stress can have long term negative effects on the body if not dealt with appropriately. Mindfulness techniques are a wonderful resource and help us really reflect on our moments of stress and take control on how we are processing them before they become a problem. Regular practice allows us to mitigate conflict because we'll be able to recognize moments where we need to regulate prior to stepping into a conflict.